Okay, I really don't think the risk is worth it for that bit. Welcome back to Secret Weapons. My name is Mark Johnston. If this is your first time here, this is a YouTube channel. We do gear demos and reviews, as well as studio tips and tricks for leveling up your writing, your playing, and your production from the perspective of a guitar player working out of a studio. If that's the kind of thing that you'd be into, please hit that subscribe button and stick around for future videos. And today we are unboxing the Warm Audio microphone mystery box. So let's get into it. So Warm Audio and Reverb.com were running this thing last month that allowed you to spend $250 to get a microphone from Warm Audio, valued at a minimum of $299. I assume it's over by now. I don't think you can buy them anymore, but I will check. And if this is still going on by the time I publish this, I will put a link down below. It's worth noting before we even open this box up, this is not a sponsored video. I did not work with Warm for this. Here is my receipt right here. You can see that I paid full price for the mystery box through Reverb, and it just came in over the weekend. So let's open this thing up. Let's see what's inside. And just so this video has some value beyond just loot box nonsense, we're going to go ahead and whatever mic is inside, we will use it on as appropriate guitar cabinets, my voice, and an acoustic guitar. Kind of put it through its paces, kind of as a first impressions foray into whatever mic is inside. Trying to go really light with the box cutter so we don't chew up whatever's inside. Okay, here we go. Flip it back around. We are dealing with, let's please don't fall out. Aha. The Warm Audio WA87R2. So I actually do know a little bit about this mic even going into this, which is nice. This is the WA87R2. It's a large diaphragm condenser. FET microphone, not a tube mic. It's based on the Neumann U87. This is the kind of second version, a new update to the original WA-87 from a couple years back. The R2 is the new version of it. It has a Cinemag transformer in it. I don't know that off the dome. That's on the box right there. And it's based on, like I said, the U87, a very classic Neumann microphone. Supposed to be based on, if my memory serves, the original U87s, not the U87 AIs that are the kind of newer models of that microphone with more top end. So this should have more of a kind of vintage-y Neumann large diaphragm condenser microphone sound to it. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. Presumably all the info we need about the microphone. We have, ooh, I like that box. Okay. Threads. Big ol', this, okay, this is legitimately probably the largest and probably just by default nicest shock mount I own, which is a nice change of pace. One of these, I don't even know what these are called, but they're, the mic I'm currently using has one. I like that it came with one of those. And we have mic box. Okay, is there anything else in here before I do the YouTuber thing where I throw the box? No. Let's put you in there, you in there. Close that. And gone. Fancy. Nice little display case. I assume it's a display case and not like a travel case because I don't know why you would travel. This is bigger than I expected it to be. On the front, you've got omnidirectional, cardioid, figure of 8s. And on the back, you have your Cinemag transformer label, which is great and welcomed. Flat response, low cut. And then over here, you have a 10 dB pad and kind of unity gain. 10 dB pad's probably going to come in really handy when we trial this out on my Benson guitar amp in just a minute here. Let's go ahead and start getting this thing racked up. Okay, how does this work? Do you just thread this? Yes. somebody at home who's got more experience with large diaphragm condenser mics than me right now is getting really, really upset at this video, and I do not apologize. Okay, let's do a little bit of testing with the WA87R2. I am running the microphone as my vocal mic right now into the Warm Audio WA273, a kind of Neve style preamplifier. We are not using the EQ circuit, it's fully disengaged, so flat EQ response. We're in cardioid mode. We have no pad and no low cut happening on the mic right now. If I get really close, here is the proximity effect in action, getting really, really close. And as I back up, that's kind of how my voice sounds right now. We've got a fair amount of gain happening on the Warm Audio preamp because I have a relatively quiet speaking voice for this context and everything, but I feel like I'm getting a lot of detail in my in-ears right now really, really effectively. Let's go ahead and switch from cardioid mode over to omni mode after we do a quick kind of rejection test. So let's go ahead and kind of walk around the side of the microphone to hear the rejection. So we are speaking directly into the microphone right now, about 4 inches off from the capsule, and we are moving around to the side of the microphone. We are still about 4 inches off the side, and we are now speaking into the back of the mic and coming back around to the front. I actually want to say that that feels like a decent amount of rejection from the back. We're in a moderately well-treated room right now. There's paneling on the walls, as you can see in the shot. Okay, we've now switched over to the Omni mode, which is going to kind of pick up audio on all sides. I apologize for the jump scare ASMR just now. Obviously, you're hearing a lot more of the room noise that we are in right now. This might actually be great for like a room mic for my guitar if I'm not using this as a kind of close mic, which is what we're going to do in the sound samples. But once again, this is my voice going into it. Let's jump back into cardioid, hit that low cut and see how that sounds. Okay, we are now in cardioid mode with the low cut applied. We can get a little bit closer and not have a ton of that kind of proximity effect boominess on my voice, which is quite nice. I feel like I'm not getting too much in the way of plosives, which is also pretty nice considering I'm not using a windscreen right now. But from back here and kind of talking past the mic with the capsule pointed at my mouth, I feel like I'm getting a lot of detail, a lot of character, and I'm feeling pretty good about it, which is nice. Next up, we are going to go ahead and put this in front of my Benson Monarch Reverb Plus. We're going to plug in a guitar, and we're just going to hear this thing as a guitar mic on a cabinet. Like I said, normally I think I would throw this in Omni mode and try to capture it as a room mic, kind of further out away. But just for kind of first impressions, I'm really more curious to hear it as a close miking option on a guitar cabinet. So let's give it a listen. And we're going to run the microphone for these guitar samples in 2 configurations. We're going to run it in cardioid mode to get that kind of focused guitar sound with more room rejection. And then I'm going to trial it out in figure of 8 mode, where you're getting the audio coming in from the back of the capsule as well as the front, just so we can try to capture a little bit more of that sense of the room that this is in, almost trying to capture both the close miking and the room mic effect in the same microphone, which will be an interesting experiment. And to round things out, let's go ahead and give a listen to this on acoustic guitar. We're going to go ahead and grab a Martin and play with this here in the room and hear how it sounds. So it's the next day now, and we just finished mixing and exporting and kind of reviewing all of our samples from yesterday. And I have a few quick takeaway thoughts that I want to include in this video about my first impressions with the WA-87. And it is, one, I can tell right from jump that this is going to be a microphone that I lean on really heavily for my voice, especially in these kind of like talking to camera sections of the videos, but also as I kind of work on music that isn't for this channel, vocal work, that kind of thing. Because one of the things that I've noticed and found myself doing with my first few hours with this microphone is when I'm setting levels with it and I have my in-ears or my cans on, I'm finding that I'm actually singing into the mic quite a bit. Then I'm very pleased with the way that my voice sounds running into this mic. There's some nice clarity to the top end without being bright that keeps me from sounding too sibilant, but also that kind of brings the rather husky side of my voice more to the forefront in a way that I really appreciate. That still kind of keeps the focus of the kind of gravel and lowness to my register, which is quite nice. The counterpoint to that is obviously I found that low cut on the back was very severe in listening back. I'd have to check the manual to see where the actual kind of low shelf happens, but it really thins my voice out in a way that is more severe than is something that I would find myself using. Maybe for like a very airy female vocalist, it might be really nice. I think it probably cut more low end than I wanted on my guitar cabinet as well. But once again, might be really useful as a kind of omni mode room mic for cabinets. I like the in the room sound it gave me for some of those acoustic samples. I like the detail that it gave me on my guitar cabinet, even if I think it would be better served paired with something with more bite, so to speak. But the thing that kind of strikes me the most about this microphone is that it just has a nice professional sheen to it. And I mean that both in terms of the look, the build quality, the weight, and all that, but also in terms of the sound feeling very professional, feeling very like as I sing into it, I go, oh, I could hear the end product being quite nice with this. And so as I bring more vocalists into the studio, as I have been recently, and maybe that'll make an appearance on the channel here at some point in the near future, I am finding that I'm very grateful to have a Neumann style microphone here in my mic locker. It's something that has not been present in my lineup, and it's something that I think was probably a pretty glaring omission. And even though this likely doesn't sound bang on to a U87, and let's be clear, when it comes to warm microphones, very rarely do I find that they sound exactly the same as the thing they are seeking to emulate, but just as often I find that they still sound damn good. And that's really what I'm actually after when it comes to microphones, especially mics like this. Just something that can sound great on a vocal context or as a room mic that I can get a lot of great use out of without it having to sound exactly like the multi-$1,000 thing that it says it's emulating. So those are my first impressions on this. This is going to be, in my estimation, a mainstay on my voice, and will probably start showing up more when I get more ambitious with my guitar cabinet miking configurations close mic, room mic combinations, that kind of thing, as well as expect to see this probably propping up fairly consistently on those acoustic guitar moments. That figure of 8 pattern on acoustic sounded really nice. And so with that, I will say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.